What happened, Bam? What? Oh, man. What happened, baby? What is this? Look. That is a thorough ass kicking that they just took at the hands of Boston. Heat lose. Oh, man. Final score, 108-89, an absolute drubbing at the hands of the Boston Celtics. And one of their worst offensive performances of the season. Boston didn't have Drew Holiday, didn't have Porzingis, didn't really have Tatum. Tatum kind of sucked tonight. And the Miami Heat were basically on an incline from the end of the first quarter. And they just got an absolute no-show from Bam Adebayo today. And I don't know what is up with his offense. It sucked all year. And I've seen a lot of explanations, and I'm trying to buy into some of them. You know, I'm trying to buy into some of the optimistic people. I'm trying to figure out what's going on there, because I agree. You know, you could say things, he doesn't got people to set him up the right way. Oh, there's games they ignore him. Been a lot of these on his resume too. And today he got thoroughly outplayed by Luke Cornett. Thoroughly outplayed by Luke Cornett. And he put some window dressing there at the end. He put some lipstick on a pig, which is becoming maybe his go-to offensive move. But this game spent the majority in 2 for 12, 3 for 14 land, and the game was already over. So that was a lot of damages done, my friend, that he put forth. And I think anybody who's watched me and anybody who comes me knows I am a huge Bam Adebayo fan. I don't feel like I got to defend myself of how I've supported the guy, been happy with every deal that he's gotten. He's been coronated the bearer of Heat culture. When Dwayne Wade came back, he didn't mention Jimmy in the speech. He mentioned Bam. But this dude has been very, very offensively underwhelming this season. And I feel like that is the most mild I can put it. Because really you could say he has sucked offensively this year outside of a game against the Wizards and a game against the Pacers. It has not been impressive for him. And today, against this Boston Celtics team that, mind you, was without Horford, was without Porzingis, was starting Luke Cornett, and backing it up with something named Neemias Queta. I think that's how you pronounce it. And Xavier Tillman. This is what Bam Adebayo had to go up against today. And he had looks. He's had looks. And he can't make a thing. Can't make a thing. And I'm sorry, Bam, that's the focus we got to put on today. But you want to know something, dude? Jimmy wasn't in the game. Yes, Tyler Hero was no first prize from three-point land today. But you want to know something? He's been dropping 25 pieces on the reg. So this has to be spoken about. And Duncan Robinson, nowhere to be found over the last couple of games. And Terry Rozier, Jesus. I mean, there is not a person other than Jaime Jaquez who could point to their night tonight offensively and be like, that was it. You know, Jaime, aggressive, got to the free throw line a ton, got his Jimmy Butler on, and even he was 5 for 14 from the field. But that's, he was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar compared to the rest of the Miami Heat. Heat tonight just, I think the thing that's disappointing is you face this Boston team and you know how much firepower they have and you know you got to make threes. And the Heat tonight, they hit 7 of them to Boston's 19. And you're just like, that has no shot. You're getting buried. And they did a great job of getting Tyler Hero even off the 3-point line, better than anybody has. But they got nothing from their max center tonight, man. They just got nothing from him. And, anybody who wants to sit here and talk about, oh, he's not getting set up the right way. All right, cool. I'll buy into that. Fine if you want to. But, dude, he had Jaylen Brown on him, who he dwarfs in size, and airballed a layup. He then followed it up with like a three. Followed it up with like a dribble handoff pass to nobody. He took a contested three in the corner. He, had a turnaround jumper on Cornette, not even close. He took a jumper right in front of Cornette, fronted it. He had a putback bucket right by there, rimmed it. Like, how do you short that? You're 6'9". Oh, he was rough today, dude. He was rough today. It was 2 for 10 at half. I mean, and I see people out there who are like, he got into a rhythm there in the fourth quarter. I'm like, that's really what you're taking from this when the game was a victory cigar lit, and you want to take, the fact that Bam was what did he finish in the fourth quarter? 4 for 6 or something like that. 4 for 6 with 11 points in the fourth quarter. Great. I guess it's something to take home. He had that sick dunk on Cornette. But, dude, like we say, the Heat already down 22. The damage was done, my friend. Like, you can't pick that time to show up in the fourth quarter when the game is decided already. You need to get a sweat and you can get things going. No, sir. No. That's not acceptable. It's not acceptable for you to be the guy that this franchise invested in and to talk about you're going to pick out the arsenal. And everybody wants to talk about, oh, well, what he got into? Dude, I've seen this I've watched this guy. I've watched every damn game of his career damn near, okay? I've seen games from the start of the season where he was gun-shy shooting the three. I've seen now he's getting more anxious to give dribble handoffs, and he's got his back to the basket, and then he's dribbling a gazillion times for a weak-ass fadeaway. He's got no touch on his push shot. He's got no touch on his shots in the restricted area. If it's not a dunk, he ain't making it. Right now, he looks like cruiserweight DeAndre Jordan. I mean, it's just the facts. He has been stinking up the joint. Can he get out of it? Look, he's worked his ass off his entire career. He's a very, very talented player. I believe he can work out of it. But why it's lasted this long, 20 games into the season, the hell if I know. I mean, we are sitting here, and I've been waiting for the hot stretch to come along. And do I place some of this on Eric Spoelstra doesn't really have a point guard, and he got a little greedy of trying to stretch out all the unselfish things from him? I certainly think there's some validity to that. Do I think the fact that he doesn't have guys who can set him up for lobs and I can buy into some of that, but I'm not judging it off of that. Like, I watch enough of this team to also just taper it down to, all right, what about the ones that are just him? What about the ones when he gets the ball in his, because he has the ball in his hands too. What about the ones where he can come down like a freight train and try and dunk? Does he ever do that anymore? Very rarely. Very rarely. Today he had one. He brought the ball up. The only person standing between him and the hoop was Peyton Pritchard. And instead of running past him like a little rodent, he let Peyton Pritchard take his cookies, and I think that led to a 3 for the Celtics. I don't remember if it was Pritchard who did it, but I was like, dude, what in the holy hell are you doing? Like, that is a garden gnome in front of you. What are you freaking doing? Oh, here's what happened. Yeah, he brought it up. Pritchard was there, and then he got it stolen, and then he watched Drew Peterson shoot a 3. Didn't even move on the rebound. He ended up getting, after the second attempt on the Celtics, ended up getting that rebound. And then Spo took him out and put Keyshawn Johnson into the game as a 5. And Spo, that's how you're going to debut the kid? The poor Keyshawn Johnson, a wing defender's got to go out here. He's got to play small ball 5. Jeez, man. Come on, dude. And I am fully aware this is a Heat team that did not have any power rotation today. No Kevin Love, no Niko Jovic, but neither did the Celtics, dude. They were playing with their backup 5s all over the place, too. That's the facts. Okay? They didn't have Jimmy Butler. The Heat didn't have Jimmy Butler. They didn't have Drew Holiday. So they didn't have all their firepower as well. And you didn't really get that great a game from Tatum. I don't know. Did he put window dressing? He finished with 18 points, 7 of 21, 3 of 12. You know, it was not an impressive Tatum game. I mean, he finished with a double-double, but it was not an impressive Tatum game today. You know, and Jaylen Brown, did not have the most efficient game either, but they just bombed the Heat away. Pritchard, Derek White was incredible once again. You know, every time he plays the Heat, he seems like he's the best player on the floor. But it was probably Peyton Pritchard tonight, who finished with 25 points. Always seems to take that Tyler Hero matchup personally. But yeah, man, this is a one-man game for me. Yeah, it's a bam. That's a horse performance, man. And second out of a back-to-back, they're the world champs. You'd love to be fully loaded. You weren't. And these are the games, as a captain, the team looks to you. And when you're like, you know, that should be a game you're setting the tone on inside against that big stiff. And instead, that guy's sitting here and he's looking like, you know, what Luke Cornett today was like 6 blocks, 6 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. The guy was incredible. Wiping the Heat away like little flies. That's crazy, man. How can you let that happen? Very disappointing. Obviously, the other piece of this, Jimmy Butler didn't play. Not surprising, as we were. What a great segment for me to do today. What a horse's ass I am. Oh, the measuring stick week. Yeah, they measured all right. They took out their rulers. It was shrinkage. Like they just jumped out of the cold pool. Crazy. I don't know, man. I don't know. Heat dropped to 9-10 on the season. Butler, you know, we'll see what's what with his knee. Had no Kevin Love today. His back flared up. It looked like his back flared up yesterday, too. They had no Jaquez. They had no Jovic, who was back in Miami with his ankle. Khalil Ware was out with a foot injury. But yeah, other than Bam, the Heat just couldn't hit the broadside of a barn today, dude. Nobody really had a flow going offensively. And yeah, Boston's very good defensively too, and they'll, you know, force you to make mistakes. You know, he didn't even turn it over that much, like 10 turnovers today. Tyler, 6 of 19. Bam finished 6 of 18 with 15 points. The most deceiving 15 points I've ever seen in my life. This is right there with the end of game 3 yesterday. I'm going to be like Stugatz in my own personal Bam Adebayo record book now. I'll be like, no, I only count 6 of your points. Man. I'm lashing out, dude. I hate Boston. I hate them. They have the Heat in hell right now. But shout out to Keyshawn Johnson. Got his first Heat bucket. It was a dunk. So that was nice for him. Yeah, Terry Rozier gave you nothing today. Nothing from Terry Rozier. So if you think about it, here's the Heat's, what is this? This is their starting lineup. So you had Tyler today, pretty meh performance. Bam, awful. Nico, back in Miami. Jimmy, DNP, knee injury. Terry Rozier, 4 points, 2 for 6. That was your open night starting lineup. Haywood, he was all right. He usually is against the Celtics. He always brings it. Jaime, no fear, attacking, just out there playing basketball. No, I feel like the Celtics like do this thing with Miami especially when they don't have Jimmy. Like they get them to overthink so much, and I always feel like Jaime is like the only one out there just playing a regular basketball game. I feel like everybody else they like short circuit the Heat when they don't have Butler out there, and I really wanted Butler because I wanted this was the first game since talking all that smack and saying what he said at the end of last year and in the Netflix series, and they really just feel like they don't stand a chance against this team without their alpha. They don't. And that is, and I will say for Bam and the future of this team, while Tyler's been incredible, and he has been, they do a very good job of getting him out of his comfort zones. I don't think there's a team in the league that scouts Tyler Hero better and getting him out of where he can really hurt you. And while he has improved, there's no doubt about that, and got to the free throw line a little bit more today. Boston they did this today without Drew, and they're excellent. Peyton Pritchard takes that matchup very personally, and he also just did not have his shot going at all. Can't throw second out of back-to-back. So did Boston against a hotly contested Cavaliers game that they had yesterday. So you can't chalk that up either. But they just don't play this team. Obviously because he's your best player, but just also like the Heat just don't feel like they got their muscle with them. And this is the thing that you have to wonder without Butler. It's a double-edged sword, right? Miami obviously is apprehensive about giving him his contract because of durability. And that is proven already this year to have valid concerns because he's been hurt a lot already. This is game 19, and Jimmy Butler has played thus far 14. So he's already missed 5 games. And I think one of those was like out in the first half, So but he's missed 5 games. He's missed 5 games already. So he's basically missed 25% of the season. But there is a thing that he is still their guy. And you see that when they don't use him and his usage is down, they're not as good a team. And if he is to leave, which I understand the age and the durability concerns, there is legitimate questions about who is the dude. And I felt like coming into this year, the whole point of the summer, the Olympic Bam, and the passing of the torch and the max contract was Bam was going to be handed the keys. And he does not look ready for that. He does everything unselfishly. He is a glue guy. He is a winning player. He is an important piece of a contending team. I do not deny any of that. But can the guy put a franchise on his shoulders when 22 or if 22 walks out the door? And I think there are very, very many valid concerns about that. About can he be that dude? I think he's talented. I think he's one of the best defensive players on the planet. He's one of the most well-rounded bigs on the planet. But as far as taking over a game offensively, putting in buckets, serving buckets, that's been few and far between this year, especially in Butler's absence. You have the Indiana game, the front end of those 2 games. But I think tonight would have been a night where, like, if you were going to really do anything against Boston, you needed him to do something. And I felt like he gave you one of his worst. And he's had some bad ones so far this year, and this was one of his worst performances. I don't give a rat's ass about that fourth quarter. So the Heat licked their wounds. Currently, LA, they got the Lakers coming in, who are currently losing to the Minnesota Timberwolves by 23 with under 5 minutes left, so I'm going to assume they lose that game. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what their health status is. The Heat will be back in their building, but that's going to be a big-time matchup, obviously, against AD. AD was talking some depoy stuff this week, and, LeBron in Miami, that's always an interesting one. But they need a big bounce back in a big way because right now It's pretty rudderless. It just feels like a treading water season so far. Some nice moments, some nice things. Tyler Hero has been incredible. Jaime, it was great to see him have a game where he looks like more of himself, certainly with getting more opportunity to have the ball in his hands. Pell has been a nice story this year, but, again, I come to the point of at the end of this week, I really feel like the Heat got to pick a direction. And I think, it's already leaning for, all right, is this going anywhere? It's hard to tell, of course, because you don't have Butler out there, but that's kind of also part of the issue, is it not? So, not a fun night for me.